We have some wonderful news from Tarvisio in Italy, where the World Junior 2017 is currently going on. The top seed of the tournament is the Dutch Grandmaster Jorden van Foreest, who is an extremely strong player with a rating of 2600 plus. And recently, in a match with Adiban, who is a very capable Indian Grandmaster, Jorden won the match and said to the world that I'm a force to be reckoned with. But in the fourth round of the World Juniors, he was facing our Praggnanandhaa, the little boy from India whom we love so very much, our bundle of talent and as people say, the successor of Vishy Anand. And Praggnanandhaa was white and he was able to play an extremely flawless game to beat Jorden van Foreest. So let's have a look at this game. Praggnanandhaa opened the game with 1 e4 and Jorden played e5. It was a gioco piano and the opening moves have been seen n number of times. This has been seen so many times, both the sides castle, nothing terrible happens. In fact, when I was young and I didn't understand much, I would think, what's going on here? Both the sides, the pawn structure is symmetrical. However, there are some very important minute differences. For example, the knight is on c6 here, while white has a pawn on c3, in the symmetrical structure. So to get in d4 would be much more powerful for white. So if it was white to play, he would just play d4 here and it would be extremely strong, because then you are threatening d5. So black has to do something immediately and he played the logical move d5 here. After takes, black has a wonderful position with all his pieces developed, and tactically the e5 pawn is also safe. This is a very common tactic, so you can keep it in mind that when white takes on e5, you just take back, rook takes e5, and now bishop takes f2. Yes, correct, because queen f6 is tempting, but after rook e2 you just save everything. However, after bishop into f2, king f2, queen f6, you just have inverted the move order and you are winning. So after knight d5, Pragg played knight g3 and Jorden played queen d6, knight h4. And the funny thing about this position that we have on the board is that both the players have actually reached this position with opposite colors. Praggnanandhaa was black against Solidas in Barcelona 2017, while Jorden was playing with the white pieces against Shahin Loparazangene in Moscow 2016. So both the players have excellent ideas. They know what's happening in this position, and Pragg went queen h5, a very ambitious move. And as you can see from the arrows on the screen, black is well developed. However, white has great attacking chances. You can see these two knights over here, perfectly positioned. The bishop is all ready to sacrifice itself on h6, and if you could push the pawn on d4, the other bishop is also unleashed. So in a way, black has a classically very nice position, but if he is not careful, he would be in great trouble. So for that reason, Jorden played rook a d8. He's trying to get his pieces into the center, and Pragg played d4. I like this move, and he thought for 9.5 minutes here. So I have a feeling that this is not preparation by him. He was thinking on the board. I was considering bishop into h6 here, gh6, d4, trying to get the bishop, but then queen g5 just comes in and there is no real attack. So first d4, and now if ed4 is taken, you can take on h6, as now gh6 would be met with moves like queen h6, and it's a very strong attack with this bishop opening up over here. In order to stop the bishop on c1 from sacrificing on h6, Jorden played the very logical knight f4. But bear in mind, after this exchange on f4, he is in a strategically very dangerous position. You can just have a look at this situation here, and you will find that white has this beautiful pawns, okay, and black has a majority on the king side, which is crippled because of this double pawns. So to make his majority moving, get it moving, is very difficult, while for white it's much easier. Also, this bishop on a7 is blocked by these pawns. So all in all, black is sitting on a time bomb. You know, if he doesn't do something soon, he will be in a very bad situation. For that reason, Jorden had to play rook d5, getting his pieces on the king side, trying to launch an attack. Queen f3 if it is played, then queen g5 is a nice move, keeping up the pressure. Of course, you can't take on h4 because of queen d5. And over here, I think what Jorden would have been afraid of is queen d5 and going into this endgame. But here I feel white has much worse chances than what happened in the game, because first of all, the rook is coming in, the knight is not so well placed on h4. So overall, I would say black is doing very well here. Knight f1, Jorden, if the times are to be believed on play chess, queen f6 was played after 46 minutes. So I think he understood that he was in some trouble here, and he wanted to solve the problems. He played queen f6. Pragg played knight f3, and here rook e7 was met with bishop b3. All that white wants to do is keep exchanging pieces, because the endgame is just better for him because of his pawn structure. And now came, I would say, the critical and the, maybe you can say in some ways, the final mistake of the game already. Black took on b3, and this is very bad. You know, you had to keep this bishop on the board. In some ways, the light squares in white's camp are the weaknesses, and the bishop is the one who can exploit it. So queen f5 would have been the right move, and after this I think black has around equal chances. As it happened, he took on b3, ab3, and now you can just see Praggnanandhaa's technique. He just takes over and gives black absolutely no chance. So after rook e8, knight d2, black was trying at some point to go for c5, so Pragg just closes it in. b4, c6, queen g4. Now the queen is threatening to enter c8. So rooks are exchanged. This is all happening as scripted for white. You know, he's happy to exchange pieces. Knight comes to d3. The other knight is now threatening to come to e4. So Jorden rushes to exchange the queen, but after this you can see both the knights looking at c5, a6, b7, c6 is weak. This is going to be extremely difficult. I would say already lost position for black. The kings come in, and now he jumps into c5. You take, if you take with the knight, then after knight c5, this pawn ending is completely winning for white. The king comes to e4, c4, d5, and that's game over. So bishop c5, bc5, knight g7. Isn't the b7 pawn hanging now? b5, tactically black is still surviving, but from long-term point of view, this is going to be lost. King d3 was a tad inaccurate. King f3 would have been better, because now h5 can be met with take, and king g4. In the game, king d3 could have been met with h5. I think this was much better, but Jorden played king e4, king e6, king e4, h5, and now this is just a better position. I mean, it's just winning. Black played a5, and now it's over. a5 pawn is attacked. He saved it, and here's a fork, mighty fork, winning at least one pawn, and takes on f7. knight e5 and took on c6. If you take back the knight, d5 is pinning the king and the knight, and it's all over. The king and pawn endgame is winning. So after Pragg took on c6, Jorden resigned. You have to agree that the 12-year-old boy played a really solid and nearly flawless game. There are many people who are currently counting the number of days Praggnanandhaa has to eclipse Karyakin's record. I think this is very interesting race, but if you look at games like this, you realize that Praggnanandhaa is really a player who is going to go the distance. He's not going to stop at the Grandmaster title. As we say in Hindi, he's a lambi race ka ghoda. He's a horse who's going to go the distance. So there is no point in trying to count these days. Of course, I hope that he achieves this, but even if he doesn't, it's no big deal. The way he's playing chess, I have full faith that he can become the world champion. And who knows, right now he's 3.5 on 4 in the World Juniors, and if he continues doing this, he might just become the youngest World Junior champion in the history of the game.